Hey guys, good morning. This is Mr. Dufour. So today I'll be going over the district math assessment. Please note the purpose of this is not to just tell you the correct answer, but to give you some strategies when you take your math assessment in 2 days. So if we take a look at the 20 questions, you're going to see there's some open response questions where you have to fill in the blank. There are a lot of word problems, and there are also some multiple choice problems. Take a look at question number 1. There are 6 possible correct answers. One of the things that's challenging about Common Core is sometimes there's multiple correct or right answers, and question number 1 fits that example. If we look at the problem 1 is saying which of the following is or are equivalent to 16x plus 14 minus 6. So first off, what you need to do is combine like terms. And as you can see, 16x, the coefficient and the variable, do not need to be added to anything. But 14 minus 6, a positive 14 and a minus 6 or a negative 6 is a positive 8. So if you look at the possible choices, yes, B is correct, but there's 2 other answers. And one of the things that you guys will be tested on is the distributive property. So for example, if you have an X, and I'm going to just choose 2 other variables, y and z. As you know, boys and girls, when we multiply using the distributive property, we are thinking of parentheses. And if you look at example D, that's going to get you the correct answer again. 2 times 8x is 16x. 2 times 4 is 8. Therefore, 16x plus 8. And so once again, you can see that anything outside these parentheses is being multiplied by the numbers within. So when you think of parentheses, think of multiplication. If we look at question number 2, the biggest challenge to question number 2 is basically converting percentages into decimals. We have 10%, 20%, 40%, and as you guys know, when you think of percent, you think of out of 100. So one of the things you can kind of do is if this is 10 out of 100, this is 10 100ths. And the way that you write that as a decimal is 0.10. And you can do the same for 20%, 40%, that would be 20 out of 100, 40 out of 100, and the remaining percent is going to be 30%. Why? 10, 20, 40, and the other 30 is 100%. So to do this problem, you really need to know how to convert percentages into decimals. We worked on this in the first couple months of the school year. So you can see that things may be a little rusty that are coming back to either help us or haunt us. So one simple little concept could hang us up with a problem. So to solve this problem, we just choose the cost of the boat and then we multiply it by the decimal. And obviously when you multiply decimals, you count the decimal places and you put that back into the answer. If we take a look at question number 3, once again, they're going to expect that you know how to write numbers as decimals, as fractions, and also decimals, fractions, and percentages. This is what the letters stand for: decimal, fraction, and percentage. So this is a decimal, 0.875, which is 875 hundredths, or sorry, thousandths. And so this is 875 out of 1,000. One of the things that you're going to be expected to do is, once again, to convert a percentage into either a decimal or into a fraction. 88%. Remember, when you see the percent, think of out of 100. So you could write that as a fraction, 88 out of 100. I think decimals gives kids the hardest time of these 3 concepts. And if you take a look at this example of the 0.8 with a bar, that means that 8 is repeating. So what is this as a decimal? Yeah, 0.88, and it goes on forever, right? 88 out of 100. And obviously then if it was 888 thousandths, that would be 888 out of 1,000. So you would need to know how to convert decimal, fraction, and percentage. Your goal is to just turn all of these into either all decimals, all fractions, or all percentages, and then you can compare what criteria question number 3 has met. All right, so I'm going to scroll down and take a look at question number 4. And as you can see, when reading a word problem, there are quite a few word problems that contain valuable information. So what you want to do is read this multiple times. Right off the bat, we see that they're telling us that a notebook is in. So later down in the different expressions, you are going to see in standing for notebook. And guess what? She has 30 students, so each student is getting a notebook. The challenging part with this problem is that they tell you that the pen is $1.75, and you have to multiply that by 30 because once again you're getting a pack of pens and a notebook for each student, and that's where that 5250 comes into play. Once again, the point was not to tell you the answer, but to kind of look at some of these problems and kind of help you. I always try to teach my kids process of elimination, and you know that the total cost is going to be $127.50. I'm sorry, I kind of marked it up. I was trying to underline it. If you take a look at example A, that is obviously going to have equals $127.50, and C has equals $127.50. Examples B and D do not equal $127.50. So really, frankly, you could just eliminate two of those four answers and then figure out the problem. Okay? So really just kind of think about the word problems, and what I like to do is underline the important information. Obviously, you see the in, the 30, and the 175. That is all in 127.50, which is all useful information. Take a look at question number 5. I'm not going to solve this, but I want you to kind of take a look. Obviously, you had a comparison of two individuals, Jill and Jack. Not the most important information, but 3 years older. So when you hear the 3 years older, think of +3. Remember, you're adding, it's addition, more. Where when you hear less, obviously, and that's not in this problem, but you would be taking away or subtracting something. And then you have some information. You have numbers. 3 times Jack's age. We were working on variables, and the coefficient 3x means 3 times whatever this unknown number is. So if you hear the word 3 times or 2 times, think of 2x, or 4 times 4 and then the variable. It could be an x, a y, a z. And then they give you some more information. If Jack is 4 years old, then how old is Jill? And so basically what you're doing is you're plugging in a number into the variable with those set criteria. So you have to set up an equation. So once again, if you have the 3 times an age, and then you have a +3, it's going to help you to figure out step by step how to solve this problem. Okay, so this was the first 5 problems. Hopefully I've given you a few strategies. Once again, to summarize, question number 1, multiple correct answers. Question number 2, knowing how to convert percentage to decimal. 3 actually requires you to convert decimal, fraction, and percentage. So obviously you can go from a decimal to a fraction to percentage and then back. Question number 4 and 5 require you to analyze a word problem and to understand the equations that relate to word problems. Okay? And please take a look at the following videos for parts 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to try to do 5 problems per video. Thank you.